Hello and welcome back to the Guild Academy, where we're doing another review. This week we're going to be doing shirts and tops. Last week we did pants, and we're going to work our way continuing up through the chain. So with our tops, we have a variety of different options. This one that's over here to my left is one of the very first that I started with. I have some other equipment that I've tried in the past and failed, and I will have to make a video of that because there is a variety of different things that did not work for what I thought it was going to be. This top here was one of my very first sleeveless designs that I had. This was by Nike, and it rides pretty high on the neck. It's pretty tight. It's a good quality garment. Very thick. It's a dry fit material. Remember that this is part of your tool set, just as much as anything else. So all of my shirts are designed to work with my equipment and this big, fancy, funky coat over here, which is kind of a sneak preview to next week. We will get to that. Don't worry about it. We are going to start with our shirts first and then keep working our way up. And out, I guess, in that instance. So Nike made this dry fit material, and much like my socks, much like my baseball makers, much like I have my shirts, are all dry fit material, because a lot of what I do in parkour as well as in sword fighting is very hot work, and so you don't want to sweat and then have everything be all gross and nasty and sticky and it's hot and it sucks and it doesn't breathe. A lot of groups will use cotton t-shirts and those kind of work. Hemp would be a much better option if you're going to wear something that is a more natural material. This is a synthetic material and it is a highly technical material. And I appreciate what it is and what it can do and how it performs. The hemp material, however, would be a better choice for longevity, for wear, and those kinds of things. Whereas a cotton t-shirt is probably the cheapest you're going to go with. Use them for clothing lines, quality merch, that kind of thing. Screen print on those, it's really inexpensive, and a lot of groups start there. That's a great option. I wanted a little bit higher quality garment that works better with the tools that we use currently and the ones that we use now. And so the dry fit material has been our solution for a variety of different reasons. I don't know who invented dry fit, but I'm going to find out. So first off, this is the first shirt that I used to wear for dry fit material, and it's a sleeveless design. It works very well. It comes from Nike. I like it a lot, and I still wear it on occasion. Generally, when all of this is way too nasty to, hasn't been washed for a long time, this is a great option. Scent isn't kept by these garments very easily, so they tend, when they dry out, they don't keep that the scent from the wear that you had. But do wash them. Wash your garments. It's a good idea. It helps longevity. I don't dry any of these. All of my dry fit material, I just let it, air out. Socks being the one exception. And if I'm in a hurry, that's another exception. But most of the dry fit shirts that I have, I don't dry at all. I just let them air dry. It takes about 5 minutes. Put them over a vent, it'll go really fast. So that's the first garment that I have that I tried the dry fit material, and I loved it. From there, I expanded into a large range of another option. I had to find something that worked for all of the Guild Academy ranked members, and something that was replicatable, something that was consistent. And that was really challenging. Under Armour was really expensive. Some of the other knockoffs weren't super great, didn't last long, had problems with obtaining them. You're talking $30, $40, $50 a shirt. Then on top of that, you've got to buy 20 of them. Then you also have the embroidery on top of that. I decided to go with embroidery, and I'll tell you why here in just a second. So the next shirt that I had was this. Now this shirt was the next iteration of my uniform. This is like uniform 4.0 at this stage. If you haven't seen the other failed equipment, I'll make a video. It's pretty hilarious. I've made some really interesting choices with my uniform. So this uniform top was, and has been, and is currently, the solution to all the dry fit shirts that we currently wear in tandem with these big funky coats that we're wearing. This dry fit material is our saving grace. And so this is a sleeveless design. It's a little bit lower on the neck. Like you can see here, the Nike one that I just showed you comes up to about here on my neck, whereas this one rides a little bit lower. And this shirt is the same one that I'm wearing here. I have the same exact shirt. I know, it's strange. I basically just wear the same uniform every single day. So this uniform is not the same uniform I was wearing in the last video. So this shirt is pretty long, which is great because there's a lot of tall people that their shirts are too short and they can't be tucked in. And again, you can see that I've tucked mine in and I've got probably about this much length left inside of my pant from this garment. I really like this. It stays dry, it packs easily, it doesn't wrinkle a lot. And then we're talking about our embroidery option. Let me get through all of these and I will explain why I went with the embroidery and not the screen printing on a dry fit shirt, especially made out of the synthetic material. There's a lot of places you can find these. I would look around the internet and try and find something, because finding these just in the common store, you're looking at a very expensive shirt with production, and lead time is going to be very challenging. So find what works for you. All of these shirts are really sewn in multiple parts. I have a back part here that has an armpit that is sewn in here for gusseting, as well as a top shoulder for more rigidity and more strength and reliability in the garment. I also like that they have double reinforced stitching at the bottom, and there's this is a beautiful shirt. This is why I wear these all the time. It's a little weird to get used to, they fit pretty tight. There's a really good reason why. The next shirt that we'll talk about is something that I use for weightlifting reasons. Now this is an interesting take on my last shirt, this shirt that I'm currently wearing. This is a tank top version versus just a sleeveless version. This tank version, however, the collar rides a little bit lower. It'll remain a little bit cooler. It's the same kind of material, same kind of stitching. However, there's a little bit of a difference in this one. In this one, there's actually perforation along the back of this. This is a solid material. This is perforated. Why might you ask? Would I want perforation? It's for being and staying cool. I will use this for weightlifting reasons, because the sleeveless shirt that I'm currently wearing versus this shirt, this one will stay a lot cooler and will keep you a lot cooler, especially when you're in really hot climates. I'm looking at you, Sandstorm, because Sandstorm, the tournament that we're going to in next month, is in Phoenix, Arizona, and it's going to be hot. So we will probably see a lot of these being worn. Not many people wear these in the guild. Most people wear the sleeveless, or they wear the t-shirt option, which I don't have because I just don't prefer them. I don't like things on my arm because I'm wearing a lot of other gear, and the less material there is, the better. The other really good thing is the gusseting underneath the arm. I don't know if you can really see this, but there's actually another piece here, that's the gusset, and it's also that perforated material, and it sits right underneath here, underneath the arm. That is also something that keeps me very, very cool, especially when you're dealing with any sort of heavy lifting situations or really hot environments. So I really appreciate what we have here in the tank. There is no female version of this, so there's only one version of tank that is available. The sleeveless does come in a male and a female version that is available from the site that we currently use. And no, I'm not going to give that to you. Do your own research. In any case, the next up shirt that we're going to see is the long sleeve version of this. So the long sleeve version is essentially the exact same copy of the sleeveless version, the one that I'm currently wearing, and this one has a very strong stitching along the arms, and it's separate from the garment. Again, when you look at the back of something like this, you're going to see that same gusseted right here in the arm. So you're not going to get just one piece, which is going to lead to a lot of wear. This allows for a lot of flexibility and breathability. And I really appreciate the reinforced stitching they have, as well as the gusseting that they have. This is one of the mock necks that is available, and this one rides a little bit higher, but it's not tight, so it's a little bit looser. All of the shirts that I wear that come from the company that I use are all going to be go to triple XL. So they come in a variety of options. The last one that I have here today is my original long sleeve shirt. It looks a little bit different. The color is a little bit off. Why might you ask is this? It's because this is actually an Asics shirt. If you remember, Asics is also the boot that I'm wearing currently. This is a much thicker garment. The long sleeve version of that is okay, but it's a little bit thin. All of the ones that I normally wear that are this color from this company run a little bit thin. No holes so far, haven't had a lot of those kinds of problems, but in winter time you're going to need a top layer to make that work. This, you don't. This is basically my thick version of my uniform. The Asics shirt is less artistically done. It has the same kind of dry fit material, but it's going to be a lot thicker and more robust, which allows you to have a much warmer garment. I like this okay. I'm not as much of a fan of this. The coloration is a little bit too bright for the color scheme that we have, and it doesn't really match anything else, but it works for what it is, and I'm lucky to have one of the warmer shirts in the entire guild, because I'm outside and I wear these all the time. So you will probably see this in future videos. If it's really cold outside, I will probably be wearing this. It'll give you a good context clue. Now, in the embroidery realm of things, we'll just go ahead and pull one of these guys down. So we'll just use this sleeveless version as an option. So my shirts all have the logo. So we have the logo with the raven and the swords, as well as the shield for our crest, and we have the Guild Academy stitched underneath. There was always going to be, if you get an embroidered shirt or you have some shirt that has the screen printing available, which is just an iron-on or a vinyl, and there's different varieties of screen printed shirts. You will have a setup cost. So you'll have the artwork that you make, you'll send it to whoever's doing it for you, whatever company you're doing this for, and that is going to have a setup fee towards it. This embroidery logo cost me $75 to set this up. One time only, so it's not every single time because I'm working with the same company. My current company is Nomad Apparel, and they do a really, really excellent job. They're fast, they're accurate, they haven't messed this up, their prices are affordable, and I really appreciate the work they've done. Thank you, Ray, so much for being awesome and being available for the Guild Academy, because we use this embroidery company all the time. They are fast and they are quality. I really appreciate that, and they really listen to their clients. So, Nomad Apparel. I will also put a link down below for that as well in the description, so that we can send him a little more business for all of the great work that he's done with us. His bulk discounts start at 12 shirts, so you have to do 12 at a minimum. Just keeping that in mind. Again, this has to do with that cost thing. So with these in mind, the embroidery that I've chosen here, I chose this for the dry fit material because the dry fit material stretches a lot. And so what the problem is that if you put a vinyl logo that's screen printed, as the shirt flexes and as it stretches, the problem becomes that it wears out and it starts cracking, and you don't want a cracked logo and have to redo it because you're spending, whatever you're spending per logo, per shirt, and then you have to go and replace it all the time, and you have to buy new shirts. I went with the embroidery for that reason. So all of the shirts that the Guild Academy ranked members wear is always going to be embroidered for that reason. It stays true to size, and the reason that is I will turn one of these inside out so you can see this. So the inside of these, the way that they do that is that there's an interfacing in the back of the shirt, and that is what keeps your stitching here just right under stress and those kinds of things. Now again, I'm just going to throw this up here. Again, I don't dry any of these. I just wash them because they dry out really fast. Dry fit material, it wicks away moisture. That's what it's designed to do. So there's no reason to dry it because that would wear it out, it will break down the threads more, that kind of thing. So the embroidery was our option, and it's what we went with as our solution to the screen printing. Screen printing is a great option for merchandise, for those who are just buying your shirts or supporting you or those kinds of things. People who are just going to wear it on the street, and good for ranked members who want maybe to wear something outside of the guild hall here. So that embroidery option is one of the best options that I've had, and really keeps all of our shirts looking really classy, and it keeps the logo in place so we don't have to keep rebuying and refixing the logo every single time when we need to do something. All of my shirts have been washed a lot. Most of these I've worn for upwards of 6 months, and I don't see anything. I have one tear on one of my shirts, and it was just the thread at the bottom, and there's a variety of reasons as to why that happened, but that's a whole other story. All of my shirts, all of the threads, there's been no discoloration, and I've worn these hard. I do sword fighting 4 or 5 days a week, and I wear them day in, day out, and I haven't had the discoloration. It hasn't changed anything. The stitching has stayed in place. The logo hasn't ripped. So Nomad Apparel has done a fantastic job of making a logo that works. The company that we currently use, it has made a great job of making a quality garment that lasts. And I want something that lasts, especially if we're going to put money into it. Again, if you aren't into the synthetics or you have some sort of problem, look towards hemp. Try to avoid cotton if possible. It's going to be a little more expensive. I haven't done that research, so don't quote me on that. So that was our garment review for today. Our shirt is, again, part of our tool set, and then next week we will talk a little bit more about our fancy coats over here. And there's a lot going on with that. I have a lot to say about that, so it might be a little bit extra long for that video. But look for a dry fit material. And again, there's a reason why we do that, and it'll become apparent next week when I release that next video. Thank you again so much for watching the video. Trying to keep all of our garment racks up here to raise our production value a little bit here. So I will get this video out to you on time this week. Yes! And next week we'll be talking about gambesons. That is G-A-M-B-E-S-O-N-S. Gambesons. Those are that is that thick coat that we were looking at over there, and you'll hear more about that next week. Thanks for visiting the Guild Academy again and visiting me in the Guild Hall. Appreciate you watching. Let me know if you need anything or if you want something specifically reviewed or have questions about my gear. And have a great week, and we will talk to you next week.